everybody. So my name is Dr. Naya Bakshi. I am going to be talking about SSA, SSB, Ro52, and Sjogren's disease. So Ro60, also known as SSA, is an intracellular RNA binding protein. So we think of this as a cell's RNA quality control inspector, right? So its job is basically to bind the abnormal or misfolded RNAs before they trigger the immune system. So these include the yRNAs, which are basically cytoplasmic RNAs, defective ribosomal RNAs. We have our endogenous retroelement RNAs like line 1 and alu RNA. And basically, these can resemble viral RNA. So the idea is, when cells undergo apoptosis, these things get released, right? So what happens is an antigen-presenting cell will come gobble this Ro60 complex up, and that's going to release all of these RNAs it was hoping to get rid of. These RNAs then get recognized by the immune system as foreign, and that's how you get all of this inflammatory response. All right, so basically SSB, what is that, right? So that's Ro60's partner. So it's also called LA, and it binds the 3' polyuridine tail of newly synthesized yRNAs. So what that does, that stabilizes them and helps them form the Ro yRNA complex. Now this complex assembles in the nucleus and then it gets shuttled to the cytoplasm, and that's where RNA surveillance continues. So what's important is that the movement itself going out from the nucleus to the cytoplasm, that's normal. That doesn't cause disease. All right. Now, what's Ro52? Is that the same as Ro60? No, it's not even part of it. So despite often being grouped under quote-unquote SSA, it's not even part of the Ro60 complex. Ro52 is also known as TRIM21. It's actually an E3 ubiquitin ligase. So that basically regulates inflammatory signaling by targeting immune proteins for degradation. It's completely different than Ro60, okay? All right, next. So what goes wrong in Sjogren's, right? So what happens is during cellular stress or apoptosis, Ro60 containing RNA complexes become exposed outside the cell, like we talked about before. Normally, the immune system never really encounters the intracellular proteins, but once they become extracellular, these dendritic cells and macrophages, aka APCs, antigen-presenting cells, they engulf the complexes. Now, the concept is that the protein is the antigen, but the RNA is the danger signal. Okay. Now, the Ro60 associated RNAs activate endosomal toll-like receptor 7 or TLR7 inside these antigen-presenting cells and B cells. Now, the TLR7 mistakes that these self-RNAs are actually viral RNAs, and so you get production of type 1 interferons, especially interferon alpha, and then all the other inflammatory cytokines. Now, at the same time, APCs process Ro60 into peptides and present them on MHC class II molecules to CD-positive T cells. Now, autoreactive B cells recognize the Ro60 through the B cell receptor. They internalize the entire Ro60 complex and receive two powerful activation signals, one from the B cell receptor recognizing Ro60 protein and another from the TLR7 recognizing the associated RNA. Now, with additional T cell help, the B cells then mature to plasma cells that produce the anti-Ro60 antibodies. That's the anti-SSA antibodies. Now, because La is typically associated with the same ribonucleoprotein complex, epitope spreading commonly leads to anti-SSB antibody formation as well. And again, just remember, Ro52 antibodies developed through a totally separate mechanism related to immune dysregulation rather than direct association with the Ro60 complex. So why does hydroxychloroquine help, right? So hydroxychloroquine actually accumulates within endosomes and raises their pH, right? Now, remember we talked about TLR7? TLR7 actually requires an acidic environment to function. So, hydroxychloroquine inhibits TLR7 activation by actually increasing the pH, making it more basic. So this, in turn, reduces type 1 interferon production, it decreases autoreactive B cell activation, and dampens the entire inflammatory cascade. But just remember, it does not eliminate anti-Ro antibodies or reverse gland damage, which explains why it often helps inflammatory manifestations like arthritis, but it doesn't really do much for the SSA symptoms. So for boards, remember this takeaway. Ro60 is protective. It binds potentially inflammatory self-RNAs to prevent inappropriate immune activation. Autoimmunity develops not because Ro60 is harmful, but because stressed or dying cells expose the Ro60 RNA complexes to the immune system. The protein becomes the autoantigen, the RNA activates TLR7, and together they drive the interferon-mediated cycle of Sjogren's disease and lupus. I hope this summary helped, and I'll see you in the next video.